Ladies and gentlemen, Manchester United have managed to redeem themselves after what was a poor performance against Brighton in the first game and managed to come up with one of the best second half performances we might see for a long time in that second game against Brighton. What's up, everybody? It's the Aidan Sports Show and welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be a Manchester United versus Brighton 3-0 match reaction. Today we're going to go through all of the player ratings for Manchester United, give what I think their score should be, discuss how well we played as a team, of course the goals that did occur, some fantastic goals in this game, and a lot more, including man of the match as well. So in saying that, man, please like and subscribe if you're new, and let's get to it, man. Let's get to it. So let's talk about how well we played. Now, it's a tale of two halves. Of course, this was nowhere near the poor performance that we saw against Crystal Palace and the first game against Brighton. We were much more of a stable team today in terms of our defense and our terms of possession as well, not really turning the ball over that often in the first half. But in the second half is where all of the attention turned after a goal in the first half from a free kick by Scott McTominay's open header. Juan Mata's beautiful free kick set piece that allowed that goal to happen. In the second half, things started to shift. We actually played a lot better, and once Pogba and Rashford came on, it was lights out for Brighton. They stood absolutely no chance coming when Marcus Rashford and Paul Pogba came. And of course, the performance is something that I would take out of this as a positive, because if you were going to come to me today with that team that came out there and said we were going to win 3-0 and perform very well in the second half, I would not believe you. I thought as soon as I saw that team come out, it was going to be a 1-0 and that was it. We would come away with the win with a 1-0 victory. Overall, a fantastic performance for some of these players. Some of them shied away, of course. There were a few players out there that really missed the mark and missed their opportunity, but there were some that really excelled, and there were some I really do feel sorry for. And it's going to be interesting to see these player ratings and see which players actually deserve a spot in this Manchester United starting lineup against Tottenham, because there are a few people that might have something to say after this game that well and truly probably deserve an opportunity, maybe not to start, but maybe come off the bench and contribute in many ways. Anyway, the second goal was class, and the goal was scored by Juan Mata. Beautiful back heel from Donny van de Beek. Of course, didn't have much to do, Donny van de Beek, today, but when he actually had that set play, man, it wasn't a set play, but basically once that back heel happened and Mata scored his goal, it was Donny van de class, man. It was spectacular, and Juan Mata, of course, very, very experienced, managed to find a way to score a goal, even though it looked like it was very contested. Third goal was a Paul Pogba free kick. People are going to say it's an own goal. People are going to say it's a Paul Pogba free kick. If someone was actually watching that goal, I think you could clearly see it was an own goal, but I hope Paul Pogba just takes the credit for the sake of having another goal under his belt. And that might boost his confidence a lot more than just having an own goal put to someone else's name, which will ruin their confidence. And those were our goals. And yeah, we're going to have to wait and see against Tottenham if we can perform a second half like that. But overall, for this game specifically, I came to this game a little bit excited, just because once you get a rant over and done with, it's more of let's see if they can prove me wrong. And I came into this game looking forward to it. And of course, I left this game very happy with the performance we had in the second half specifically. Now, it's not perfect. There are still things we need to improve on. We still need to look forward to the transfer window. We still need to get some players in here to help this squad depth that does seem to be missing a lot of assets, especially in the attacking line. And definitely defensively is a big question mark as well. But in saying that, let's go to the player ratings. Let's go and see how well every player did, in my opinion. First off, Dean Henderson. My oh my, kept us in the game early and kept us in the game late. He's going to get a 7 out of 10 for me. Absolutely superb save, especially that second one. This guy was off balance, wrong-footed, and had to make a reaction save. And what a beautiful save it was. And in my opinion, that's very difficult to do, man. It's not easy to make reaction saves when you're wrong-footed, and he managed to do it. He kept us in the game, man. That would have been a 1-1 draw if everything went in that direction, because Brighton would have definitely tried to hold on for penalties. So a great save, kept us in there. 7 out of 10, could be an 8. People might even give him man of the match, but great performance nonetheless. Very, very good. And again, asking questions with David De Gea. Both goalkeepers seem to be in great, spectacular form, and it's going to be interesting to see against Tottenham who Ollie's going to pick. You have to pick David De Gea, in my opinion, but after a performance like that from Henderson, he's not far away from it, man. Competition, that's what you like to see, even in the goalkeeper position, in my opinion. Competition all around is how you get this team better. Right back, Diogo Dalot. In my opinion, Diogo Dalot was not one of the best players on the pitch today. I don't think it was one of the worst, but I do think that there is a very, very harsh reality with Diogo Dalot that I don't think he is going to be in the plans of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer today. My opinion, he was a 4 out of 10. Now, I'm not going to go in on Diogo Dalot. In fact, these are one of the players I feel sorry for. It's very, very hard for Diogo Dalot to have come in, have a great performance after having so long not being played. Basically nearly a year. Only seen him 2 times last season and 1 time this season. I was very surprised he even started. I thought he was leaving, and maybe that's still the case, but I do really feel sorry for Diogo Dalot. He definitely in the second half, he rose to the occasion, but really he got beat a lot from his man, and if there was ever going to be a goal scored, it was going to be from his side most likely. So I think a 4 out of 10 is fair. Maybe you could bump that up to a 5 if you're feeling generous. Of course, not playing for so long and then coming in and expecting an 8 out of 10 performance is very, very unrealistic. So I do think if we are keeping Diogo Dalot in our plans, then it's time to keep playing him, not starting. Carabao Cup games, FA Cup games, maybe if there's a winnable Champions League game, you can go and put Diogo Dalot in those areas. But unfortunately, at the moment, we have to focus on Aaron Wan-Bissaka. We have to focus on our first team, and Tottenham, it might not be a reach for Diogo Dalot, and we practically might not see him again after this. So we're going to have to wait and see at the end of the day. It was a good game from him, despite, it was a good game, but it just wasn't United quality at the end of the day. It just wasn't, and yeah, we'll move on. He nearly got a goal, so there are positives there. Next up, Eric Barley. In my opinion, Eric Barley is one of the candidates for man of the match and one of the only players that I'm going to give an 8 out of 10 to. Now, there is someone else that I will be discussing later on, but Eric Barley cleaned everything up at the back. Any interception, he was there. Anytime someone's man was beaten, he was there. He covered Diogo Dalot today. He covered Victor Lindelof today. And he even covered his own man today. Was powerful in the tackle. Won things cleanly. Didn't put a ball wrong. And in my opinion, if this game does not put Eric Barley into the plans of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in the Premier League, then there's no game that will. I don't know how much opportunities Eric Barley is going to get after this, but it should be a lot more than what he's getting with the Carabao Cup. We're not going to have another Carabao Cup game for a long time, I believe until December. At the end of the day, when you think of Eric Barley's performance today, that has to be enough to give you an opportunity in the Premier League. Now, Victor Lindelof next to him was good as well, but he wasn't good as Eric Barley today. Eric Barley's an 8 out of 10 for me, was spectacular today, and he really made that defense. I mean, if you notice, we kept a clean sheet, first of all. That's the first thing you need to notice. And the second thing is, our defense did not look shaky at all. Yeah, there were a few turnovers from our midfield, and even Brandon Williams at times, and Diogo Dalot. And Eric Barley may have cleared things to a Brighton player, but I really felt watching this game that Brighton were not going to score. And yes, they did come close at stages. I mean, but that's what it is. They came close, but they didn't do it. And that's the key takeaway here. Eric Barley stood out in that defense. Next to him, Victor Lindelof. Now, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer mentioned that Harry Maguire and Eric Barley will most likely be a partnership that could work in the future. In my opinion, if you looked at Victor Lindelof's performance today, that should not go unnoticed, because Victor Lindelof was one of the better performers today as well. Now, he's not an 8 out of 10. He's not even a 7 out of 10. I am giving him a 6 out of 10. But seriously, we need to consider putting Victor Lindelof at left-sided centre-back for future games, because he had a very good game today. Again, he cleared out a lot of things. He didn't look shaky. He didn't really have that much to do. But reality bites. Maybe Harry Maguire might be the issue here. Now, I'm not saying that it is, and I'm saying that we need to definitely try Harry Maguire and Eric Barley before we make any assumptions. But in this Carabao Cup game, Victor Lindelof was there, and he had a decent game. There's no hiding from this now. He had one bad game against Crystal Palace. He probably should have got dropped, and he didn't. And he's had 2 relatively decent games since. maybe we should not be focusing on Harry Maguire and maybe focusing on Victor Lindelof. It's just something to throw out there. I don't expect it to happen overnight, but of course, we need to think about these things. At the end of the day, no favoritism is allowed at Manchester United. I'm not accepting favoritism because Harry Maguire is the captain. If a performance is poor, a performance is poor, and we have to adjust. And we're going to have to wait and see. I'm very excited to see what Harry Maguire and Eric Barley can do. Hopefully that's a matchup we'll see with Tottenham. And if Harry Maguire and Eric Barley is a great partnership, then we have their partnership now. And we can move forward into the season, hopefully waiting for a centre-back within the next transfer window. I'm assuming it will be in the summer. At left-back, Brandon Williams. In my opinion, Brandon Williams was a 6 out of 10. Again, defensively, Brandon Williams didn't really do much wrong at all. And he had a fantastic ball to Juan Mata that nearly ended up in a goal-scoring opportunity for Ighalo. That's the type of ball I want to see more from Brandon Williams. And to be fair, players need to make that run. It's a wide open run and it's a fantastic ball. And we need to see more of that at Manchester United. And overall, Brandon Williams offensively wasn't really great. But defensively is where I think he had his game. And in my opinion, he was average today. And is an average 6 out of 10. I don't think he was any worse than that. I don't think he was any better than that. I think 6 out of 10 is fair. I know people will give him a 5. Some people might give him a 4. But I think a 6 is fair. At the end of the day, he's probably out of position, to be fair. So you have to think of these things when you go into player ratings. But of course, it is what it is. I fully respect whatever you guys decide to give Brandon Williams for your own player ratings. Hopefully you guys are doing the same thing that I'm doing in your heads, or maybe you're making another YouTube video just like I am. Next up, we've got Fred. And Fred, in my opinion, was one of the worst of midfield players today. And I've been praising Fred's playing ability for a long time, and I still will continue to do so. One bad game. It wasn't even a bad game, but it just wasn't up to the level you'd expect of Fred. I think a lot of people really thought that he did play awful. I thought besides the turnovers, and there were a bunch of turnovers and very easy turnovers, I think Fred defensively was fine. But of course, the turnovers, really, you can tally them. So my grading for Fred will be a 5 out of 10. I don't think he was worse than Diogo Dalot today. He wasn't far off him, to be fair. Like, you have to be realistic. I'm not going to come out here and lie and say Fred had a good game just because I like the player. If Fred had a bad game, he needs to own up to that, and he needs to work hard for the next opportunity. That's how things should go at Manchester United. And that's where I think Fred's next game, wherever it comes, he needs to come out and show out and ball out, and let's see exactly how good he can do. But for now, that's a 5 out of 10 performance in my eyes, and he was lucky to get that for some people. And in my eyes, he could be lucky to get that. But I think a 5 out of 10 is completely fair. We did win 3-0. I'm not going to go too heavy on these players in terms of player ratings. There will be a few that will get really bad scores, but most of them, I think, were pretty average, if not slightly above average today. Scott McTominay scored a goal in the first half, a beautiful header, but to be fair, it's a wide open header and it's a beautiful cross from Juan Mata. Besides that, if Scott McTominay didn't score the goal, I would be saying the exact same thing that I would say about Fred and give him a 5 out of 10. He's not a CDM, and the qualities are still there. I will always say that the qualities are still there, but the CDM position just doesn't seem to work well. He does work better when he's playing alongside another CDM. So McTominay and Fred played, they actually brought a little bit out of each other today. But despite that, really, he's a 6 out of 10 because he scored a goal. And it was a good goal, a good header. Most of the times we don't score those goals. Even when we have some of the biggest players in the team, we don't end up scoring a lot of headers, a lot of set pieces, unless it's a penalty. So it's good to see us score from a free kick. It really is good to see. And I hope to see it more, hope to continue beautiful deliveries into the box. And we have to earn the free kicks as well, which means we're attacking. It's a perfect sign. But despite the goal, I think a 6 is fair. And we're going to move on from that as well. Donny van de Beek. Big assist for Donny van de Beek for the second goal. But overall, again, I have to be fair, guys. Overall, Donny van de Beek for the first half was the invisible man. And in the second half, he didn't really have that much to do until the big boys came on, until Pogba and Rashford came on. And this game only wants me to watch Donny van de Beek play with the best players. I want to see Donny van de Beek play with Martial and play with Rashford more often. Play with Bruno even. Play with Paul Pogba. Maybe we play Paul Pogba, Bruno and Van de Beek in the midfield and have an ultimate creative team running for us. And play with Mason Greenwood as well. I mean, playing with Ighalo and Daniel James today really took things out of Donny van de Beek, and I do think that's why his performance was very lackluster. But that assist on its own was absolutely superb. I was going to give him a 5, but that assist is a 6. He is a 6 out of 10 performer for today. Average game. I want more from Donny van de Beek, but you have to understand the quality around him is probably not what he wanted to play with. I think he wants to play with Martial over Ighalo. I think he wants to play with Rashford over Daniel James. I do think he wants to play with Mason Greenwood over Juan Mata, but Juan Mata, in my opinion, is something that just should not be identified as bad today. So I'm going to take Juan Mata out of that conversation, but that was a very, very good assist to Juan Mata, to be fair, as well. And it ended up in a fantastic goal. And that's what you're going to get from Donny van de Beek, man. Anytime he's near the box, something can happen for us. And I want to see him play more often, to be fair. I mean, his agent was the one that was abusing Man United for being a substitute. At the end of the day, this is only the start of his Manchester United career. Assuming he's going to be a starter from the beginning, it's biased, really. Realistically, it's biased. I want to see him progress. I want to see him given game time, but I want to see him develop and adapt to this team. And sometimes it takes a lot of players different times to adapt, and maybe Donny van de Beek will be one of those players. Moving on into the attackers, I'm going to start off with the worst of the attackers in Odion Ighalo. In my opinion, Odion Ighalo was a 3 out of 10. I'm pretty sure last game I gave him a 3 or a 4 out of 10, and today is no different. Odion Ighalo, look, his movement was better. I'm not going to lie. His movement was better today than against Luton Town. But where was he? Where was he? I didn't see anything from Odion Ighalo except for turnovers. He even turned the ball over in the opposition's half when he was trying to get the ball deep. He still turned it over. With Odion Ighalo, I think it's safe to say that after this loan termination, I don't think we're going to keep Odion Ighalo after that. I think he'll go back to Shanghai and play for their team. I'm not sure what their team is called. I apologize for that. But Odion Ighalo, in my opinion, is not the answer for Manchester United. We are looking for a backup striker. It looks like, according to transfer rumours, apparently Jokic and Cavani are being linked, and I do think both of them would be better options. And if we are looking for better options than Odion Ighalo, then maybe we do consider Cavani, or we do consider Jokic on loan, or we do go after another striker of any sorts. But Ighalo, for me, just doesn't seem to be the right answer for us. Hopefully he can improve. He has until January. He needs to prove us wrong. Again, I think it's very justified to have this opinion with Odion Ighalo. He was a loan move after all. People questioned him from the beginning. He did end up proving a lot of people wrong through a very good few months. But now it's starting to see the true Odion Ighalo, in my opinion. And that's where he has to come and prove us wrong and show that he is a goal scorer and that he can create plays and that he can dominate games with his strength. And he just hasn't done that at the moment. Moving on to Daniel James. Daniel James, in my opinion, is going to tie Odion Ighalo with a 3 out of 10. Daniel James, if you're talking about invisible men out there, Daniel James is definitely one of them. And the sad part is he played on the left wing today. And that's not what you want to see. When you see Daniel James on the left wing, you're expecting a good game. That's where he plays for Wales. And to be honest, Manchester United and playing with Odion Ighalo as well probably didn't help Daniel James. I mean, often, how many times did you see him running backwards instead of forwards? It just wasn't a great performance from Daniel James, and a lot of that might have to be do with the fact that there was little to no movement in front of him. So I'm not going to put all the blame on Daniel James, but realistically, a lot of it does go on his hands as well, just as much as everybody else. So whether it's fair or not fair, I think a 3 out of 10 is justified. And maybe other people will agree with me or disagree with me, but that is where I put my money on Daniel James at the moment. I need him to improve, man. I need to improve. Maybe he does go on loan to Leeds. Maybe he does go on loan and get some game time elsewhere. He's not going to get that much game time at Manchester United, it looks like. And for his career and for his future at Manchester United, it's probably best that he does go on loan. And maybe Manchester United can make that happen before the deadline closes. Who really knows? They're very slow. So maybe nothing happens, realistically. We need to think of that as a reality at the moment. Going on to the right wing position, Juan Mata. A goal and an assist. Beautiful goal, beautiful assist. Mata was an 8 out of 10 for me, tied with Eric Barley, but I'm giving Juan Mata the man of the match for this game because at the end of the day, he was the reason we won the game. He was the main contributor. He was the one that scored the free, that was able to provide a goal-scoring opportunity from the free kick. He was the one to score a beautiful goal, and 2-0 up instead of 1-0 up is the reason why we won the game. I mean, Scott McTominay had a beautiful header, but the second goal was what tucked things away for us. Very, very important goal. Was all over the pitch today. He even outran a few players today, something I never thought I would have seen in my life, but he did it. He outran a few players today. So all respect to Juan Mata. I'm happy I picked him in the starting 11, and I really think he proved himself today that he can do things in cup competitions like this, and maybe we'll see more of him in the Carabao Cup. I'm happy about that. I really am. And yeah, he showed his quality. There's still quality there. At the moment it's his legs and his body that might potentially be holding him from facing Premier League sides with quicker players. But in the Carabao Cup, in the Champions League, maybe against slower opposition, against a team. To be fair, Brighton weren't great today, so Mata really had a lot of space and time on the ball instead of being pressed heavily like Brighton did in the previous game. Mata really took advantage of that. And maybe there is big question marks. Why isn't Mata coming off the bench for Manchester United now? I think he well and truly deserves at least an opportunity in the Prem. After 2 fantastic games, 2 man of the matches probably. I mean, he's probably going to get man of the match from Sky Sports again. So that's 2 man of the matches in the Carabao Cup. Maybe he deserves that chance in the Premier League now. Who really knows? At the end of the day, we're going to have to wait and see with Juan Mata and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and we're going to have to wait and see just exactly who he's going to pick, because Tottenham's a very interesting game and a big game, because Tottenham leads to a lot of hard games coming forward and we need to be very, very fit. I believe it was Newcastle, then Chelsea, then Arsenal. So we have very, very important games that lies ahead, including Spurs. So we need our players to be fit. We need our players to be well rested as well. And we need our players to fight for everything, because now we can't get away with a performance against Brighton in the previous game that against Tottenham. It will not work. So now we need to perform. We need to step up. And this game gives me confidence that we will have the capabilities to do that against Tottenham. And this game should be a lot fairer. And to be fair, we have the advantage because Tottenham do have 2 games, including the Carabao Cup yesterday, and they're going to have a Europa League game. So we have this advantage, and it's up to us to seize the moment. Let's go to the bench. The bench. Interesting, because Marcus Rashford came in and, in my opinion, was class. But I am going to give him a 6 because he didn't have that much time. We got Paul Pogba. He scored a free kick. I mean, I don't care if it's an own goal or a free kick, just for the sake that I finally saw Paul Pogba score a free kick after how many years at Manchester United didn't score a free kick, and he really enjoyed that goal. I'm giving him a 7. Realistically, it's not the rating he should get, but I'm giving him that rating. And I'm trying to think who else we actually had on. Jesse Lingard, that's the one, and Jesse Lingard gets a 6. Overall, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's team selection, in my opinion, coming into this game, it was bad. Coming out of this game, it's tactical genius. That's just sometimes that's how football goes, man. Yeah, you might think that the lineup isn't the lineup you should be going with, but it ends up proving you wrong. And it was one of these situations. So I'm going to give it a 7. I was going to originally give it a 4. I already had this planned out. And the team performance today, in the second half, it was an 8 out of 10. In the first half, it was probably a 5 out of 10. So if you round that all up, it's probably a 6 or a 7. I'm going to stick with 7 because we did end up winning 3-0. And the team deserves some recognition for that performance. Overall, now we've got Tottenham in the next game, as I said. Jose Mourinho versus Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, our previous manager versus our current manager. And again, Tottenham is going to be a very interesting team to verse. They do have a disadvantage coming into this game. We should be very well rested with our squad rotation. They're going to have a Europa League game. Of course, they've rotated and they will rotate for Europa League as well. But we should come into this game fitter than them. And that's going to be the key. If we are fitter than them, we should win the game. If we're not fitter than them, even now, then I do see Tottenham kind of running away with it. But we're going to have to wait and see. Again, I believe it's at Old Trafford. We're going to have a good time. And we're going to hopefully, we have our eyes at the transfer window because time's running out and we need players. Now, players might not play for Tottenham, whoever we get, but it's for the future of this club, not necessarily the next game specifically. Let's get some players in. I don't know who they are. I hope it's not Dembele, but reality, we're going to have to wait and see, and I'll back anybody that comes in despite how I truly feel inside. So thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. More Manchester United videos on the way. If we do make a signing, I will make a video about it. If we have the Here We Go by Romano, I will make a video about it. And let's just see who exactly is going to be joining Manchester United, if anybody will be. Have a wonderful day. Take care and peace.